Peace, 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 peace. Welcome back to the You and I Versal Temple for the sun, planets, moon, and stars. I'll be your Lord of Hosts, Lord Messiah. And this topic today is, or right now is, no servant can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Yea, cannot serve God and mammon. So, like, what is mammon? So, we gotta look that up, right? So it says mammon is defined as wealth regarded as an evil influence or false object of worship and devotion. It was taken from medieval writers as the name of the devil of covetousness, and revived in this sense by Milton. So you remember that? On the Boondocks, say the episode with that bad kid Lamar Milton or Jamar Milton or whatever his name was, and he was acting all bad and shit, beat up his grandmother because she ain't want to give him no fried chicken, stole his grandmother's car, and was driving around being a menace. Being all bad and whatnot. That name, and his name was Milton. So like, that explains why he was acting so bad and all that. Say he want, and misery, loves company too. So that's why he's trying to get Riley to hang out with him and do bad stuff. Riley was like, nah, man, I want to go home, man. He was like, come on, man, just hang out, man. Anyway, let's keep it moving. So we're dealing with basically why we can't serve two masters, and how when you're dealing with the incorporation of the state, incorporation of the church, then that incorporation creates contracts. You know what I'm saying? And those contracts place you in a state where you're now, subservient to the state. So let's continue, right? So it says, fourth, incorporation creates several contracts. The primary contract created by incorporation is a contract between church and state, which places an incorporated church under the contract clause of the contract clause of Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution. I was on my phone before when I was pulling this up and reading this. But basically, the Constitution clause was stating that no state shall, create tunage, seize ships, go to war, or enter into any contract with any other state or foreign power unless they're invaded, or it's like no way they can get out of war, they need assistance and all that. So they're not supposed to do that unless then. And it says enter into any agreement or contract with any other state or foreign power. So they're not supposed to be entering into agreements with other states or foreign powers. So if the state is trying to enter into agreement with the church, then they are now trying to create a joinder with the church and state, and there's supposed to be separation of church and state. So if they're doing that, then they're violating the separation of church and state clause, and they're violating the fact that they're not supposed to. First Amendment says they're not supposed to, the state cannot make any law. Congress cannot make any law, pass any law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So basically, they're saying they can't be for or against religion or the establishment of it. So they're not supposed to have any say-so in it. But if they join or make a union with the state, then they obviously have some say-so because they're in contract. And see, this is what Constantine was doing in his time period. Constantine made an edict or offer to the people to make a union of the church and the state. And a lot of them, took that because they wanted to get the benefits. Just like nowadays, a lot of these churches sell out to the IRS for that 501c3, 508(1)CA tax status and all that. C1A tax exempt status. Not already knowing that if you keep in your church based upon your biblical principles and protected by the First Amendment right, your church would already be non-taxable. Not tax exempt, non-taxable, meaning they're not even able to tax it in the first place. So why would you apply with the IRS to get a tax exempt status when you're already non-taxable? So you're just going under them for what? To be under their regulations for what? Because you're scared of them? Man, stand your square. If you truly about that God life, you truly about, if your God is your head and your leader and everything is ordained by your God and you truly believe that and stand on that, then stand on that. Stop conforming to the state. You know what I'm saying? So this is just real information. It's right here in our face. We cannot deny this. And this is why I'm not going to get any rebuttals by anybody about any of this information I've been breaking down. They just going to try to overlook it like, oh, we didn't hear what Messiah was saying. But okay, you can act like you didn't hear what I was saying, but whatever you're trying to establish, you may not be establishing it right. So you need to pay attention to what I'm saying, whether you like me or not, whether you like what I'm saying or not. The information is the information. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what people got to stop doing. People got to stop doing all of that picking favorite stuff. Well, I don't like him, so I am not gonna listen to what he's saying. So okay, that's your loss. You know what I'm saying? That's your loss. So but anyway. So let's continue. So the Articles of Incorporation. What do the Articles of Incorporation do? The Articles of Incorporation constitute a contract between the corporation and the state, between the corporation and its members or owners, and between the members or owners themselves. Furthermore, by the bylaws of the corporate church creates contracts between the members of the corporation and between the corporation and its members. All these contracts come under Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution and the contract clause. So therefore, a declaration of trust creates no agreement or contract at all with or between anyone. You know what I mean? Your declaration of trust. That doesn't constitute a contract. So under such a declaration, a trustee merely holds legal title to property for the benefit of the beneficiary, which would be the Lord Jesus Christ, if it's a church under Christ. You know what I mean? Remember, this is spoken from a biblical, principality. So like I said, if you want to do your your information, your paperwork, you draw it up how you want to draw it up according to your understanding. Once again, it's not legal advice. This is just information, what is possible to do. You know what I'm saying? Well, people can, they don't have to. That's your decision. Contract is an agreement between two. Now, peep this, right? Peep this part. See, this is why the part of having the supreme being as the creator, which you would call in a trust, but more so a spiritual entity, the creator, is because that's the sovereign power. So peep this, right? It says contract is an agreement between two or more equal parties, equal people. Well, more so should be parties, which leaves God out of the equation. So trust is a biblical principle. The members of the church under the contract of an incorporated church not only control the church property, they also control the spiritual direction of the church. Corporate trustees become the de facto rulers and overseers of the church. So once the church incorporates, they have now de facto trustees. You know what I'm saying? Trustees that are acting like de facto rulers, because they're not really supposed to be ruling in the church in a trustee business manner. It's supposed to be a steward, stewardship, steward, which is, handling the responsibilities of the church under God's command, not under the state's command. See what I'm saying? So members are beginning to realize and understand the exercise the power given to them in the contracts entered into between themselves and the sovereign state. All right, let me run that back. Members are beginning to realize and understand and exercise the power given them in the contracts, or given to them in the contracts entered into between themselves and the sovereign state, between themselves and the corporation, and between themselves. So Dr. George Dixon explains, He says, we have a new breed of trustees now who are educated and understand their fiduciary responsibility. Oh, say that again. We have a new breed of trustees now who are educated and understand their fiduciary capacity. That's right. People in the past may not have been educated to this, but there's a whole new breed out here nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And I think Messiah's about to spark something. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm about to spark something. A whole new breed of how to do this whole trust thing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So spiritual entity, spiritual trust. You heard them terms here first. I didn't create that term, spiritual entity, but like I don't hear nobody else teaching about that. You ain't hear nobody else teaching about that. You heard Lord Messiah teach that first. So I'm just asking that, least people can do is just give credit, what credit is due. That's all. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm asking. A lot of people, what they'll do is, see, I'm giving all this information and I'm dropping these jewels. I'm helping people that really want to develop something for themselves. But what people are going to do is they're going to take this information and try to develop some kind of package out of it and be like, yeah, you want a spiritual entity? I'll sell you a spiritual entity package right now. $500. You know what I'm saying? That's what niggas is gonna do, man. That's why I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna put enough information out there for those who are serious enough, who really want to get with this information. Y'all know how to contact me. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna put it all out there because people gonna start 10%ing with the information. I'm not gonna give y'all enough info to do so. You know what I'm saying? Because I already know the intentions of a lot of people. I mean, I explained enough in this. If I explained enough in this, people should be able to draw up something. You know what I'm saying? But anyway. So, so we have a new breed, you know what I'm saying, nowadays, you know what I mean? All right, so, where were we? Okay, so, fifth, a corporation is established under a charter. A corporation is established under a charter from the civil government and is conclusively established by filing articles of incorporation with a state agency, the contents of which are commonly specified by the state's corporation statutes. Statutory requirements as the form and content of the articles or certificate must be substantially followed. So, once you incorporate, you have to follow their rules and regulations, basically. You know what I'm saying? So, anybody that's incorporated any kind of whatever, if you're trying to say that you're not under rules and regulations, you need to stop the cap. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you're under anybody's rules and regulations in any kind of way, that's not sovereign. That's just a fact. You know? Now, I'm trying to show people that now, if you draw up your spiritual entity and you can place incorporations under the umbrella of your spiritual entity, so that way you would still have to deal with the rules and regulations of the legal entity, but it'll be under the umbrella of the spiritual entity. So therefore that could bring no harm to the spiritual entity, because they're trying to get at the legal entity. So that will bring some protection to the legal entity. See what I'm saying? But if your legal entity is out there with no spiritual protection, then you subject to the commercial world. You just all in the commercial world. You can't claim no religious rights, no nationality, none of that. You chose to sell out for commercial, all that commercial stuff. All y'all know is commerce. Commercial, everything commercial. All y'all know is commercial. So, cause y'all anyway, commercial. So, and one time I was told there's a difference between commerce and commercial. I went to medical school and we learned medical terminology, and in that we learned prefixes and suffixes. A suffix is like add on to a word to express and put it in a certain category. So like ION, like elevation, meditation, you know, you know, whatever type of shun, the ION on the end, or like AL, scientifical. Well, scientifical, that's kind of two suffixes. There's no such word as scientifical, actually. Mathematical, um, original, meaning pertaining to the origin. That AL means pertaining to. So anyway, in the word commercial, the IAL means pertaining to commerce. Commercial means pertaining to commerce. So how is there a difference between commerce and commercial? But anyway, you know, let's go. A such requirements exists for the drafting of. All right, yeah. So yeah, now such requirements. Oh, excuse me, no such requirements. All right, so let me run that paragraph back. So it said how basically a corporation is established under the charter of civil government and is conclusively established by filing articles of incorporation with the state agency, and commonly specifies and which are commonly specified by the state's corporation statutes, statutory requirements as the form and content of the articles or certificate must be substantially followed. So like I said, when you incorporate, you got to follow their rules and regulations. Next paragraph. No such requirements exist for the drafting or filing of a declaration of trust. Excuse me, a declaration or trust. A declaration of trust can be drafted in any local manner, in any logical manner, and need not be filed to establish the trust relationship. See? So the spiritual entity under the spiritual trust or the spiritual trust relationship is just amongst the people that it's dealing with. They don't need nothing in writing per se or any type of filing with anybody else to let them know, hey, this is what we doing and No, you don't. It's called privacy. People have privacy. Living in the private. Learn how to live in the private. A declaration of trust can be drafted. All right, So a declaration of trust is in no way either subjugates a church to the state or creates any contract of any kind between anyone. So, it doesn't create like a contract. It's just like what we do, just naturally through our will. We're just doing it. It's not have to be written down and explained to anybody and registered with them and, hey, is this okay? And all of that type of stuff. No, not necessary. So, and like I said, with a declaration of trust, you're just declaring what it is. You're not filing a registration of trust because you're not registering it. You're not filing a certificate of trust because you're not getting a certified copy, put with their approval or seal on it. Rule 902, Federal Rule 902, evidence that is self-authenticating. That's what you use right there. And I might have to revise. I did a video on that. You can check that on the YouTube and on my Facebook account or whatever. But I might have to redo it because it was kind of long, and like I said, a lot of people don't like long videos, so I try to shorten them up for people. But for those who are intensive, to get this info, they tuning in. So your attention span is not destroyed. So the declaration of trust is what you want to use. That's all you need with your spiritual entity is a declaration of trust. So 6, whereas incorporation of a church creates a legal entity which subjects the church to the state. A trustee holding property for the benefit, or a steward holding property for the redemption of the Lord Jesus Christ, implements biblical principle in that the church remains a spiritual entity only. See? So that's how you keep it. You keep it, spiritual in your entity. You never incorporate, basically. An incorporated church gets part of its power from God. An incorporated church gets part of its power from God and part from the civil government. It is under two heads. You know what I'm saying? So now that makes it under two heads. And what would that mean? That means that they are serving two masters. And you can't serve two masters, right? And ain't that what the scriptures say? So if you're serving two masters, that wouldn't be scriptural or biblical for you to do so. See what I'm saying? Um, so civil government, so it's under two heads, and the two heads are the civil government and God. So a church that sees fit to become incorporated under state law is obligated to conduct its business activity in compliance therein, in compliance with the state law. So, including governmental regulations of its employment relationships, so long as the employment does not depend on doctrinal matters. Right. So if you doing your employment based upon doctrinal matters, then they can't say, well, no, you can't do that and da 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 da. Like I said, you can do everything that you do in your whole life based upon your doctrine or your beliefs, your religious beliefs and whatnot. That's the whole. That's what I'm trying to say. I know, like I said, they use the term religion. I don't use that term. I use culture. And if you know that's what you're doing is a culture, it's not a religion, then hey, whatever. Use the term religion just because whatever. That's what they'll acknowledge. Especially if you're saying like this is my first. If you're using the First Amendment to protect your rights and whatnot, and they use the term religion, then hey, whatever. Use that term. But it doesn't mean that he's selling out. He's being a religion. Man, you do what you do because you got to show and prove that. But however, and not saying and now cipher even to that. That's kind of now cipher because the gods of Earth. What was the god that the god Star Law? He was one of the gods that fought in the court case to have the 5% acknowledged as a culture, so that we can have our parliaments, our ciphers in the prisons. You know what I'm saying? Because the gods had to come under the Muslims, you know what I'm saying, so that we could have our ciphers going on. We had to come under the banner of Islam, of the Nation of Islam, in the jail so that we could have our ciphers. But the gods had to fight court cases so that we could be respected as a culture, not necessarily religion, but as a culture, and have our rights to have our ciphers and what we do and everything like that. So, pardon. So I can't, you know what I'm saying? So the brother didn't conform to the term religion per se. He fought for that and he won the case. So actually, what I need to do is look up that court case, look up that case law on that case, and use that to the advantage of, solidifying the fact that how I'm describing culture more so than religion. You know what I mean? And that got to be protected by the First Amendment as well. So there you go. There you go. See, y'all not gonna box me in the 10% box. You ain't gonna put me there. I know too much, man. You can't do that. So, and I know too much for myself not to fall into that category. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So, yeah. So a church that sees fit to become incorporated. All right. Okay. So yeah. So basically, it's for the benefit of Jesus Christ and does not connect herself to the state in any other way is totally under God. No business practices or requirements in the operation of the church are initiated by utilizing property held in trust by a trustee for the benefit of the Lord Jesus Christ. No entanglement of church and state results. Right, because everything in the trust for the trust for the church, the spiritual entity, is all in the benefit of the deity of the church. So no way is that incorporated with the state. And we're not rendering onto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. We're rendering onto, the supreme what belongs to the supreme. Or the universe what belongs to the universe, more so. But use that term, the universe. You know what I'm saying? No entanglement of church and state results. No elections board of directors. Check this out too. No elections, board of directors, no officers, no employees, no business meetings, etc. are required, since the civil government has absolutely no control over the affairs of that church. So they don't have to do they don't have to have elections and board of directors, and they don't have to have officers, they don't have to have employees or have business meetings. They don't have to do none of that, because they're not under the government regulation that says, oh, you have to do this, and we have to know that you're actually an establishment and you're actually doing something. We want to know when you had your last meetings, when you did this, when you did that, when you took a shit, when like, come on, man, really? Nah, we good. I mean, I'm good. So holding property in the recommended manner has additional benefits. Not only does holding property in this manner comport with biblical principles, it also lessens the chances that property and essentially the buildings will become idols. Their idols are the works of men's hands that make them excuse me, they that make them are like unto them, so is everyone that trusteth in them. You know what I'm saying? Right. So people that believe in something mysterious or idly, people will believe in that too. You know what I'm saying? Like Elijah Muhammad said in page 6 of Message to the Black Man, he said, the unintelligent or those without divine knowledge seem to delight themselves in representing the God as something mysterious or unknown. So yeah, we talking to religious people and they be like, oh, but see, God is a spirit. See, you can't see spirit. See, ooh, I got you there. See, ooh. See, and they get all hyped and they delight themselves in representing the God as something mysterious or unknown, something spooky. You know what I mean? They like to do that stuff because they know that that's not really real. And they know that they don't never have to be accountable for bringing any actual facts about the reality and the knowledge of God. So they can just say, come on, man, everybody know God is a spirit, man. Yeah, man, you can't see God. Come on, man. Like, stop the BS, man. See, because now we got to go to the Bible scriptures, man. You know what I'm saying? The Bible says, no man shall see the face of God and live, right? Don't the Bible say that? So what about Adam and Eve when they were in the garden? And it says God came walking in the cool of the day, and then he was questioning them and all of that and blah, 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 blah. And you know what I mean? They saw God. What about, they say Enoch was taken up in the rapture. I guess he's seen God. They said Enoch walked with God, so he's seen God. Jacob, they say Moses spoke to God as a man speaketh to his friend. He spoke to God face to face as a man speaketh to his friend. So Moses saw God, and Jacob, Jacob said, "For I have seen God face to face, and my life has been preserved." See, I saved that one for last because that one contradicts that verse totally. Look, it says, no man shall see the face of God and live. So if Jacob said, for I have seen God face to face and my life has been preserved. Preserved means to live longer, an extension. That was an extension of his life. His life has been preserved. So obviously he's seen God and lived. Come on, man. See? But nobody pays attention. People don't break stuff down because they don't pay attention. I'm going to be quiet and let that sink in for a minute. That's why I say, man, don't nobody want this smoke when it comes to this Bible, man. Y'all don't want that smoke, man. But yeah, so all of them people seen God, so-called, according to the Bible, But the Bible don't contradict itself. What are you talking about? The Bible is perfect. The Bible's the word of God. Yeah, all right. Okay, so like I said, this is why as believers, people will be like, oh, they'll just accept certain things without proof or evidence. That's what belief means. The word belief means to accept something as true without proof or evidence. And that is very foolish to do so. That means you're taking things on face value. Like if I told you, yo, I'm a millionaire, I got millions of dollars in the bank. You know what I'm saying? I'm a millionaire. You'd be like, yeah, right. You ain't got no millions of dollars. You'd be like, see, a logical person would be like, because if they want proof of what I'm saying, they would just say something like, okay, so let me see a bank statement. Oh, shut me down right there, right? If I can't show a bank statement, then I'm lying. Talk about I got millions of dollars in the bank, but you can't show us a bank statement stating that you have that money in the bank, then you're lying. You know what I'm saying? You can't show the proof. So I'm supposed to what? Just believe you? No, that's not logical. You know what I mean? That's why the scripture says, study thyself to show thine own self approved. You know what I'm saying? Unto God. Because if you don't, then you keep listening to your pastor and what he say, and you're going to be taken for a ride. So anyway, and then when you want to get out the car, you're going to be held hostage. Yo, we going the wrong way. Shut up, nigga. I know where I'm going. And you gotta follow, cause he's the shepherd, right? You gotta follow the shepherd, right? He leading the flock, right? The sheeple. He's leading the sheeple. And if you're gonna follow like sheeple, then you might be following in the wrong direction. And somebody be like, hold up, wait. Y'all supposed to be going that way. And he like, nah, we going this way. Okay. You can keep going that way if you want to. I'm trying to show you the way to go. You ain't gotta listen to me. You can keep listening to it. You know what I mean? Do what you do. Do your thing. But check it, right? So let's continue. Holding property. All right. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Finally, holding property in this way does not require that the church be structured like a business. Right. Thus, God instituted the concept of trust in the beginning. In the Garden of Eden, it is a biblical concept which is utilized in America today. The government cannot set standards for religion, education, or training. Neutrality is what is required. Like I said, right, the state has to be at a neutral stance. They can't, you know, have any regulation over religion, education, or training. That's why, like, Rise of the Moors, when they said they was doing their gun training, they had them guns, they was doing training. Like, I'm saying, the government not supposed to have any standards for their training. Oh, well, you can't do all of that type of stuff, whatever. But what they tried to hit them with was gun trafficking. They was traveling with the guns across state lines and all of that type of stuff, jurisdictional issues and all of that. And they were loaded. They're supposed to be like unloaded and, all the regulations. See, that's the whole thing. See, when you got a registered gun, also, that's another thing too. If the guns were registered, if you got a registered gun and you got a registered gun license, then you have to follow rules and regulations. You know what I'm saying? Now, if the gun was unregistered, you know what I'm saying? I think that you got to look up the gun laws. I know there are gun laws that say you don't have to have a registered, a shotgun. Anybody can legally have a shotgun in their home. You can get a shotgun from Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Literally. And you know why too? Because what is Walmart? Walmart, wall, W-A-L, spelled backwards, is law, and Mart is the abbreviation for martial. So Walmart is law, martial law. And Walmart or martial law also funds the FEMA camps. What is FEMA? Federal Emergency Management Agency. So when the federal government has an emergency, that's the agency that manages that emergency, FEMA. And FEMA invests in concentration camps and all of them containers they got waiting all stacked up that they're gonna put bodies in. So are they trying to start a civil war in this country so they could fill up them goddamn containers? But anyway, or are they just sitting there waiting for martial law to kick off, or and I'm not on that scare tactic stuff because yo, there's this dude on Bigo. He always be yo man, martial law every fucking day. Niggas martial law. Yo, I'm telling you man. You know what I mean? They start kicking in the doors and nigga, whatever man. Cut it out man. And they like I say they only gonna do that at drastic measures. Remember we were just talking about the contract clause. How it said they can't go into contract with any state or foreign state unless they're being invaded, you know what I'm saying, in war and all of that good stuff. So I mean that's according to what they say. Not saying they follow what they say, but you know what I'm saying. That's what they say. That's what they say. That's what they say. That's what they say. Yeah. So but yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's like I said, I'm not out here with the fear mongering. I don't do that. And I don't like people that do that. Try to get us so scared of. Oh, and I was gonna say, yeah, listen, they got the people so dumb, deaf, and blind and so following like sheep, they don't even have to do all of that. They ain't gotta do all of that. All they gotta tell you is, oh, there's a snowstorm, go get some salt and shovels, and you go out to Walmart, Home Depot, buy up all this stuff, and then it don't even snow tomorrow. But maybe that maybe the companies paid the news companies to put that out there so you go and support their stores. Hmm. Could that be? Could it be an economic, you know, game? Yeah, I think it would be. Or just like what was the better example I was gonna say? Um, oh yeah, remember when that shit popped off when they was talking about the toilet tissue shortage, and you had people in the store fighting over toilet tissue? Like, come on, man, is it really that serious, man? But that's how gullible the people are, man. They could tell you anything on the tell lie vision. They could tell lies to your vision, and you will go out and react on it. Stop watching the tell lie vision, y'all. Turn that idiot box off. Shit is the one-eyed devil. You know what I mean? But anyway, settling standards for a religious education is a religious exercise for which the state lacks not only authority but competence. Right. Let me say that again. Setting standards for a religious education is a religious exercise for which the state lacks not only authority but competence. Right, because they don't know what every people's religion is. You don't know what people's things is, and they don't have to write out something stating all of their beliefs. You know what I'm saying? So they can't set certain standards to say, hey, this is the standard for religion. They can't do that. You know what I mean? Because everybody got all kind of ways that they practice whatever they practice. So how could they say, oh, hey, this is the one way you got to do it? No, they can't do that. So by restricting the terminology of a religious institution can use the state signals its approval or disapproval of the institution's operation and curriculum is vividly as if it hung the state seal on the institution front door. Exactly. As if like they own the institution. No, they can't. Nah. If you allow them to do that, they will do it. But you know what I'm saying? So the trustee who holds property for the benefit of the Lord, since he holds the property is sacred trust for the Lord, it is not only the property as a profit-making venture in any way. The purpose of holding property is to glorify God by allowing the church to assemble together to worship and glorify God. Right, right, right. This is why, like, when you see the people out there, like when something happened, somebody get shot or whatever, the church people will come out there and they be out there, praying and singing their songs and and all of that type of stuff, because that's the congregation of the people of God, and they be right there on the scene, you know what I'm saying, and to support the situation or whatever case may be. You know what I'm saying? And now listen, I know that whole we shall overcome stuff ain't gonna work or whatever, but I'm just acknowledging the fact of like why they be out there doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So this does not mean that the trustee, upon consultation with other members of the church body, cannot sell the property at an appreciated price. All proceeds from a sale, such as property, no matter the sale price, should be used to glorify, uh, used for the glory of God. Since the pastor must meet the highest of biblical standards, he is least likely of the church members to deal carelessly or in a sinful manner in carrying out his responsibilities. Yeah, you know, purportedly, in theory, yes, he's not supposed to do that. But we all know that they do the very opposite. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is why, I'm trying to show people how to bring it back to a principles based upon what they preaching. Because if you preaching one thing and then you're doing another thing, then you're lying to the people. And you're basically doing what you're doing to enrich yourself or profit yourself. You're not doing it for the love of the Lord and all of that shit. So in closing, it's the last couple paragraphs. It says, if such a trustee violates his duty as God's trustee or God's stewardess, you know what I'm saying, steward, God will certainly hold him accountable. For we know him that have said, vengeance beholdeth unto me. I will recompense, saith the I will recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Now, based upon that, when I heard that, I had remembered what Samuel L. Jackson has said in Pulp Fiction, and I had looked up that Bible verse. That Bible verse was Ezekiel 25:17, and it goes a little something like this. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know I am the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon you. Peace.